Hey guys, me again, you know who I am, and today, since Planes of Eidolon is coming to consoles very soon, I thought I'd give you, instead of making a video on all these neat little things you can do in Planes of Eidolon, I thought I'd wrap it all into one video. So here are like 10 tips I came up with for Planes of Eidolon. Now some of you may know this stuff, and that's fine. It's just that it seems that not enough people know this stuff, and it seems like DE didn't really explain a whole lot of things. So I'm here to clarify things and also give you tips as well. So starting off with number 10, you can repeat bounties after completion and still get rewards. As you can see, I have completed a bounty here. Possible reputation has gone down to 0, right? This means I've completed the bounty. However, I can still get all the mods and stuff. I just can't get the rep, which is totally fine, considering that a lot of the interesting new set mods come from these bounties. Just to show you that I can't get any more rep from this, I'm going to show you that I have 11,330 rep right now. And we're going ahead and going to go finish the bounty. After we finish the bounty, I've got my reward, which is Augur Reach. I've got Augur Reach for the first time. And we're going to come back to see this. And after getting my reward, as you can see, I still have 11,330 rep. Alright, number 9. Fishing hotspots do indeed exist. Now, there was a bunch of like myths, or people thought that fishing hotspots were a myth or a thing that players thought existed. And I'm actually here to prove that they do indeed exist. As some of the bait in the game, like for instance the Norg bait, can only be fully realized when you utilize a fishing hotspot. Now, fishing hotspot looks like these little ripples here, and if you fish near those, there tend to be a lot of fish in the water by that spot immediately. And if you put bait in there, there's going to be even more fish, and it gets kind of crazy when you start throwing different baits in there. So I'm just going to throw in Twilight bait here into this hotspot, and bam, instantly got a Sharrock and a Carkina. All right, and now I'm going to go into the same waters, but not in the hotspot area, right? And as it did attract more fish, as 3 is better than 0, I only ended up getting one small Carkina from that bait, so it ended up being a waste of bait. So don't waste your bait and not throwing them into hotspots, especially like the special fish like Merc Ray and Norg bait and all that stuff. All right, number 8, radiation damage is king, and by I mean that is the best single element you can take into the planes right now. Because I don't know if you noticed this, but when I was taking a corrosive weapon into the planes and trying to shoot down, say, the big enemies, like say the dropship, or in the Eidolon included here, like the high health enemies, the thing is that I've noticed that how insanely fast I was able to strip their armor, yet I still wasn't getting like a big damage increase. That's because the enemies in the planes seem to have more health than they do armor, minus some of the heavier units, well, like the bombards and the mortar bombards. But still, this is actually a pretty smart change on DE's part, as considering that you can't just spam corrosive or corrosive and heat and take it down because it has an insane amount of armor, but instead it has an insane amount of health but very little armor on top of that. So you'd actually have to pay attention to resistances, and most of the armor in the Planes of Eidolon, it happens to be alloy armor. That includes the Eidolon. So you're going to go ahead and take a radiation damage, or if you want like dual elements, radiation viral. It's probably your best bet. Or radiation cold. That can work too if you really want. Number 7, mining deposits will give random results. So you might be wanting to mine for a specific material. Like for instance, I struggle with pyro a lot at the very beginning of planes, and like I needed so much of it, but I had virtually none of it, and I wasn't coming upon any real deposits that gave me pyro. And unlike say the fruits in the planes or the little plants like Nissopods and Maprico, the thing is that it doesn't matter where you are. You're just going to get a random ore from that pool that say that cutter can get for you. For instance, the blue deposits are gems, so you're just going to get a random gem unless you have the advanced cutter, and then you'll have a chance for Eidolon gems in those too. But the reds are always ores. So the best place to farm for like mining materials is generally by a cave. So the best cave I found for mining tended to be by the Grenier base on the coast to the left side, and that ended up giving me a ton of ore as well as gems as well. So that was pretty good. Number 6, Zaw Stats Are Deceiving. So when you first build your Zaw, you'll notice that your Zaw stats seem to be like subpar, and don't worry about that too much, because so basically after you kill him, basically what he ends up doing for you is he polishes your weapon and sharpens it for you. It gets better stats after you gild it, which is great, and it doesn't look all dirty and shit. It's nice and shiny and clean. As you can see here, I only have 4% critical chance, a 1.4 times multiplier, which is really bad, lowest in the game, I believe. And then we have a 15% status chance, which is okay. You can build off of that. But after we gild it, and instead of having a 4% critical chance, I now have a 14% critical chance with a 2 times multiplier, and I have 25% status chance instead of 15. So basically your critical and status multipliers get like bumped up by 10%. I'm pretty sure it might go up higher with the higher level parts, so just keep that in mind when you're building your Zaw. Number 5, Itzal is the best Archwing. Now Itzal is, as much as I didn't like using Itzal in the normal Archwing mode, as none of Itzal's abilities catered anything toward dogfighting if you were using the experimental flight setting on your Archwing. Now why Itzal, you say? Now Itzal, the reason why you want to pick Itzal over any other Archwing in the Plains of Eidolon is 1, speed. Speed is just crazy how fast Itzal can scale the map, which is nice to have, but a better feature to have is Itzal is the only Archwing in the game currently that has working countermeasures against airburst missiles. As you can see, when Itzal goes invisible, the airburst missiles that the Grenadier shoot at you don't track you anymore, and they completely lose you. As well as Itzal can also do this. Yeah. Number 4, do not use Corrosive Projection against the Eidolon. The thing is, it does work on him. As you can see, his armor is completely stripped, and we do have a full squad of Corrosive Projections here. But however, it acts the opposite way you think it does. And when I mean that, I say instead of him getting instead of you seeing like a damage increase, you actually see a massive damage decrease. So basically what's happening here is instead of taking away his damage reduction, it's giving more to him, and a lot of it too. So, and I think this has something to do with something similar happened when you use Shield Disruption and Coaction Drift, which increases the aura effectiveness. And if you ever went over 100% shield reduction against the Eidolon, instead of giving him 0 shields, it gave him negative shields. So any damage you did to him, instead of actually doing damage, it healed him by a -%, and that made him unkillable. And obviously you have ice. We have to swap out our Coaction Drift to fix that. So just something to take in mind. It does, like I said, Corrosive Projection does work. It works in the opposite way. So please be aware of that. Number 3, avoiding Energy Spike. So there are a couple ways you could avoid Energy Spike. Energy Spike, in case you don't know, it's the Eidolon's attack after he loses one of his limbs, and he does this burst of magnetic damage, and it does a lot of damage, and you have to like run about 70 to 75 meters away from him to even just get out of the range. But the thing is, if you're on lure duty, you need to like protect those lures, but at the same time get out and have them stay near the Eidolon so he doesn't teleport away, right? So how do you solve that problem? Well, there are 2 ways you can do this. So what you can do is just when he does Energy Spike, what you do is immediately jump out of your Warframe and void dash away as fast as possible. You'll see like your magnetic effects on your screen, but you won't actually take any damage. Alternatively, you can just use void mode and crouch and just tank the damage head on, and then you won't take any effects. But I don't think this is intended, and this might get fixed later. Okay, number 2, positioning lures. So let's say you're on lure duty in a Eidolon capture, right? And you want to like quickly keep the lures in place while simultaneously not getting affected by the Eidolon's energy spike or anything like that. You want to keep them in a spot, but you also want to do other things as well at the same time without having to actually use the hold position button that is sometimes finicky and glitchy. So when you tell the lures to follow you, you can pick which form you want them to follow you in, essentially. So if you hack them as an operator, they will only follow you in your operator form, and vice versa works for Warframes. If you hack them in your Warframe, they will only follow you in your Warframe, but they'll immediately stop once you get out of your Warframe and your Warframe's like standing still on the battlefield somewhere. They'll only follow your Warframe. Number one is going to be the leaves quickly extracting in the plains. Now, DE has recently added a leave squad button, however, it's made everybody uneasy and not wanting to risk, say, losing loot. However, I can safely say, after using it several times, that the leave squad button is totally safe. What you could do is, when you want to quickly leave the squad and say someone wants a mine or fish or whatever, and you just want to get the hell out of there, or you got work or something to go to, what you can do is head toward the doors, head into the gate, and then just quickly hit the leave squad button. Your game may freeze for a few seconds, then you'll go into a host, and then you'll just go and you'll get put into an instance by yourself when you're loading into Cetus almost immediately, so no one can like join you afterwards, say if you're on public, and you'll be in Cetus in no time. Alternatively, if you're the host, you'll instantly ditch the squad, and you won't have to worry about any like tiny little freezes or anything like that. However, I tend to be nice and let everybody have a chance to get to the door before I force a host migration on them. Anyways, that wraps up my tips video on Plains of Eidolon. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.